Good morning, Ugly Mug marketing friends and followers. Welcome to another edition of Ugly Mug Marketing Coffee Chats, the live show where we drink coffee and we chat about marketing, leadership, business, and everything in between. My name is Hannah Balliet, and I'm the Director of Communications and Teaching here at Ugly Mug. And today I am thrilled to have Abby Thomas, soon to be Abby Reedy. Abby is getting married very soon, and I'm so excited for her. But today she is our guest. Abby is our fashionista, Pinterest guru, and Canva wizard. And I'm always amazed at how Abby is able to pull off really creative strategies that actually drive results for her clients and results that they actually care about, which is always more than likes, comments, and shares. Abby is also wildly efficient in her processes and creating marketing campaigns with key automation features that seamlessly integrate with the processes and tools that her clients are already using. And I'm really excited for her to speak on that in particular and how you can do the same in your business, whether you are a team of one or a team of 100 or more. Honestly, this can benefit anyone at any stage of their business. So welcome to the show today, Abby.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like every time I come on here, I get such a confidence boost because your introductions always just hype me up, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm really.
I'm here to be the hype. I'm here to be the hype team. I love being the hype team.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I'm so excited to talk about Zapier today and automating processes because it's just like I feel like a niche thing that I love to do in my job that I don't really get to talk about often. So kind of getting to share about that with you, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, likewise. So let's just dive on into things. First of all, what is Zapier and what can it do? I mean, it sounds like it does a lot. I mean, I use it on a day-to-day basis too for a lot of my clients. But tell the people who are tuning in what Zapier is and what it can do for their business.
Yes. So in short, Zapier it connects different apps and websites together and kind of sets off a chain reaction between those apps and different websites, being the translator of information from one to the other. I remember when I first started working at Ugly Mug, and you were that one who actually introduced me to Zapier. And because I needed to use it for one or two of the clients that I was onboarding. And I was like, okay, Hannah, this seems really like complicated. You mean like I have to make these different apps and websites talk to one another? I know nothing about coding. I don't know how to do that. And it was so simple using this one website, and it takes literally seconds and saved me so much time during my job and just like my everyday task that I was amazed. So you can use it for tons of different apps. I mean, from if you're looking to set up different automations between like Gmail, MailChimp.
Yeah.
If you have like a text service, like I don't know, I know one's called Hatch, or any like CRM systems. There are tons that you can use on Zapier. So there's thousands of different apps and things that you can set little triggers off between.
Yeah. I love that you talked about coding and like being nervous. Like I am not a coder. Like I don't know API connections and making this thing talk to the other thing. That's not my forte. Zapier is not like that at all. Zapier is incredibly user-friendly. You do not have to have that background. You, for the most part, excuse me, just have to have the login information for each one of these different tools that you're using. Like Abby mentioned, a lot of what we use it for at Ugly Mug is connecting lead generation to other tools, which Abby's going to share with us more about in just a moment here. But I mean, it can also talk to your text messaging services, like Abby mentioned. It can talk to your MailChimp account. It connect your website form to, your CRM. I mean, there's so many different tools that can be connected here. I mean, I don't even know how many thousands of different websites and apps that Zapier can connect. It's truly a remarkable tool that, like Abby mentioned, can help save you a lot of time in the long run. And I feel like we'll probably talk about this here too with my next question of how you're utilizing this for your clients. But I kind of want to dive into just like what the alternative is to like, if you're not using Zapier, here's what you would have to do. So talk to me a little bit about how you're utilizing Zapier for your clients, and then maybe lean into, okay, what would you have to do if you weren't using Zapier?
Otherwise, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think like probably the best way to explain this is just to take an example. So there are so many clients that I use this for who have really simple automation setup to
Yeah.
very complex automation setup that have like they go from like maybe a one-step automation to a 3 or 4 step automation.
Mhm.
So for example, let's take my client CMAP. They are running lead generation ads where if somebody sees one of their Facebook ads, they can fill out a form with their information saying that they're interested in their services. From there, Zapier is then connected to Gmail. So I can get, instead of looking to see who filled out the form every day, I get an email notification saying someone filled out the form, and it tells me exactly who that person is and shows me all the information that they put in the form. And then from there, it goes into a spreadsheet automatically. So I have all that information in the spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
now I am being notified that that lead came in, and it's collecting all the data in a spreadsheet. So I do not have to manually put it in, because otherwise I'd have to, one, go into Facebook every single day, go to Meta Business Suite, go to that ad that I'm running and see who filled out that form and what their information was, then go manually fill it all out in a spreadsheet. And I would have to remember to do that every single day to keep up with it, because some days you're getting tons of leads. Some days
Yeah.
you're getting a few, but usually you're getting several leads every single day. So just doing that takes up, I mean, at least 10, 15 minutes of your time. If you're doing that every single day, like that's a whole hour, 2 hours of your week that you could be saving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other really key component is like the customers side
Yeah.
of things too, right? So going in, downloading that, maybe somebody filled that out at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then you don't send it to the client, or if you're using this internally for your own team, you don't send it to your team until the end of the day. So then that person doesn't get followed up with until maybe the next business day. I mean,
Yeah.
people want things now, right? Like people want a response. They want to know that their information was received. They want to know that someone's going to be following up with them, and when that person's going to be following up with them, ideally in the same business day if possible. And so I feel like on the customer journey side of things too, it makes it a better experience for them because
For
they're
sure.
actually getting the feedback and the follow-up that they want in real time too,
Yeah.
right?
No, for sure. And like you said, I think that feedback that once somebody fills out that lead generation form, getting that response is so crucial to the experience. So I love, like, for example, like we have some clients who use that like text message automation system to where once a lead comes in, they can set up the automation for that um, client or prospect to
Yeah.
get that automatic text saying, hey, we got your form. We're going to be in contact with you within, and it tells them like a time frame.
Yeah.
Or it sends them maybe another question or something, so it looks like they're already responding. Um,
Yeah.
so it makes that customer feel so cared for and seen, and I don't know, it gives them, like you said, that better experience and makes them feel like they are being taken care of promptly.
Yeah, and it really depends on, like, the industry I feel like you're in, like, you've touched on two very different ones, so for tell people what CMAP is, what they do, just for context around that.
So CMAP is a cancer screening service. So they travel around central Louisiana in their CMAP's cancer screening mobile unit. And they provide mammograms, cervical cancer screenings, and colorectal cancer screenings to individuals who are uninsured, or maybe they have other special requirements.
Yeah.
So what CMAP is doing is they are targeting a very specific person on Facebook. We're looking for very specific people. So once somebody kind of looks at that ad and they're like, okay, I think could receive a free cancer screening through CMAP. They fill out the form and CMAP gets a notification. And once they get the notification, they are calling that lead to get them scheduled for their cancer screening.
Yeah.
So since they manually need to call the client, they need to be doing that soon. So having that email notification set up for CMAP is super important, where they don't have to rely on me to go manually tell them every single day is very key in their success.
Yeah. So that's like an example of like kind of like healthcare nonprofit world benefiting from using a tool like Zapier. But then also, like you've mentioned, home services. So people who need a new AC unit or need a tune-up or need electrical help or a plumbing problem. I mean, we have to think about it too from the customer's perspective, not to go too much down this rabbit hole too, but like there might be more of a sense of urgency for someone who has like a plumbing emergency or an HVAC emergency versus someone who's just trying to schedule a cancer screening. They might have different needs. So follow-up might look different for both of these, but we still want to be prompt in how quickly we're following up with them. So like Abby mentioned, having text messages that automatically go to the home services company customers and saying, hey, here's when we have availability, or, how soon do you need service by, and having that communication, but then on the flip side for the mammograms and cervical cancer screenings and things, having a real person call them and say, hey, saw that you're wanting to schedule a mammogram. Here's when our mobile unit's going to be by you. Here's what times are available for that day. Having that like personal connection there might be important, but again, still prompt follow-up is
also, when you're saying that, I feel like it's having Zapier integrated for those types of processes is super important, because it eliminates a lot of that human error where you know that the client, before they respond, they have all the correct information. That email is right, the phone number is right, it's exactly what the lead had filled out in the form. Whereas if I had to manually go send over that information myself, if I have to do that 10, 20 times a day, I'm definitely going to at least mess up once or twice, like spelling a name wrong or not putting the right email address. I mean, Zapier does eliminate a lot of those like small issues that you would have to deal with in a day-to-day.
Yeah. So, I mean, quick saves you time as the person who would maybe have to be downloading the leads. Creates a seamless integration into the systems and processes that you already have. It also is creating a great customer experience. But like Abby just mentioned, like, another benefit is the human error. Like I have never even thought about that, thinking about Zapier, because there have been so many times with like spelling errors, or you accidentally put this customer's, phone number instead of the one who actually filled out the form, or, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's such an excellent point too. So I know we've talked about 2 Zaps in particular, but are there any other Zaps that you have set up for clients that you feel like are really beneficial for you as the person who's running the ads, but more so for the client and for their customers? How are you utilizing Zapier? What are those top 3 Zaps or so that you have?
Let's see. I think one of the more complex Zaps that I have set up, it's probably going back to those home service companies. They really need a lot of their information in a lot of different places. So for them in particular, they have the Facebook ad going to email notification, spreadsheet, and then they have a little thing that, I don't know how to explain this great, but it separates their first and last name. So
the formatting tool.
It's a
sometimes the data comes in and it's not formatted the way that you need it to go send to that app. So you can add that tool in there.
There's like a little formatting tool that separates the first and last name, so it can then go into their text messaging system, and also then goes into their CRM system, which is where their sales team then sees the information, can follow up with it, and then track whether they were able to book that job or not. And then it tracks how much revenue came in from that job. So for me, I love that because it's a very detailed process where I can see the fruits of my labor of like, okay, is this ad working? Did it result in any booked jobs? Because I can see that the sales team, from when the information goes into their CRM system, if they are following up with the lead and was that successful? If they're contacting a lot of them and it's not successful, I can change the ad. If it is successful and we see revenue coming in, I can keep it rolling, and then we can say, hey, that promotion's doing like really amazing. Let's keep it going. And it just helps me give that client a better experience. It helps them drive more revenue. But on their end, they're not having to worry about me following up, that all of what we talked about earlier.
They're not having to do any extra work or like go into a spreadsheet and then have to be checking on leads there while also going into the CRM and seeing who's scheduling and booking, through other, methods, whether it's their website or calling in or sending an email or whatever it may be. Yeah, that's really, I feel like that is like a huge benefit, especially for our home service clients, is the fact that it allows us to take, Facebook or take Google ads or take, whatever it may be, and connect it directly into the CRM so that they can see those results. Because I think for the majority of our clients, I feel like when they come to us, they're like, I've been posting and I hear crickets, or I've been hitting boost posts, or I've been running ads and I'm not seeing. Essentially what they say is, I'm not seeing my efforts on Facebook turn into more money on my business. And what you're describing is these automation tools is helping us prove to them that, yes, the efforts on Facebook or the efforts on whatever social media platform are actually turning into revenue in your business. And that is so beneficial as a business owner to know where you should be investing more of your marketing dollars into, right? Like that's so important.
Right. And I think that there are some businesses where they come to us and like you said, they're like, okay, we don't see the results, but they aren't having that. They aren't tracking it maybe properly. There are lots of things that you can do to make sure it's trackable. And I feel like a lot of times that does sound like a lot more work to the client.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of like allow Zapier to do its thing, it's really way less labor, and you're getting so much more, like you said, of that marketing dollar that you're spending with us.
I think that's been a huge reason too that CMAP, Cancer Screening Project in particular, has stayed with us, because everything for them is kind of filtered through a spreadsheet, more or less. But that spreadsheet, because they are actively working in there, like that then enables us to create like an automated kind of overview as well of how many leads have been generated, how many people of those have we talked to, of those leads, how many people ended up in there and weren't quite qualified or didn't actually need a cancer screening, and then how many people actually scheduled an appointment. And I'm gonna drop the link for this after the show in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn as well, because Abby created a really amazing case study talking about this example in particular and how many leads were generated, but then how many of those actually converted into cancer screenings that could have potentially saved people's lives. I mean, we see it all the time in the comment section. I know this is kind of like derailing from automation, but like we see it all the time in the comment section on this ad that we've been running for them for so many years now of, wow, this program saved my life. Like I filled out this form. I went and did my cancer screening. They ended up finding cancer and I was able to seek treatment faster and sooner, than ever before. Like then I would have never known had it not been for this program. That's more of a testament to the program than it is the automation, but I just think it's really cool to like play a role in that and see that journey. Like, yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I love that you talk about like the complex versus the more simple, where CMAP is a little bit more simple. Talk about too what else there's connects to, because it goes into the spreadsheet and there's that follow-up, but then it also adds into MailChimp, right?
It does add into MailChimp. So they, as soon as they fill out that form and it goes into the spreadsheet, they also receive a email notification, which they use MailChimp as their email service.
Yeah.
And it just says like, hey, we got your lead form, like we will be in contact soon. But it also then subscribes them to their email newsletter. So once they fill out the form, anytime they send out, they do quarterly newsletters, that person will receive that as well. But it does send them that one automatic email once they initially opt in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's nice just for the customer journey, but then also to like stay top of mind, because you don't need a mammogram every single month, right? Or you don't need a cancer screening every single month, but just to like stay fresh.
Yeah,
you know, here's
information. Maybe you just had it, but you're like, actually, I could use this service the next time I went. So they're like, I'm going to go ahead and sign up. They're on their email list. Next time they need one, CMAP's there, front of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Are there any other Zaps that you have used in the past for clients or that you're actively using that you're really loving?
In the past, we had a client, it was a birthing center out in Dallas, who had a really cool automation setup that it was for a birthing center. So anybody who may be interested, if they were pregnant or thinking about having a child soon, they could utilize the services at this pregnancy center. I mean, it was all women's health care, not just pregnancy, but they could fill out the form.
Yep.
Would send them an email that had a Calendly link where they could schedule a tour. Once they scheduled a tour, we had then set up a text message service for them to get notifications of when their tour was coming up, to just remind them that, say like, hey, your tour is coming up. Do you want to cancel or do you want to reschedule? If not, like, this is when it is. And once they went on their tour, it would send them like a little text saying like, hey, thank you so much. We really enjoyed having you. It meant so much for you to come and tour our facility. And then from there, they were still opted into their email list. So anytime they sent an email, they would get an email. So that lead was still continuing to be nurtured. So it was really cool to see that journey and see how they had went from not having that many tours scheduled to getting tours scheduled, and how many more successful tours they had because of those different steps being set up in their automation. So even if a tour wasn't being scheduled necessarily from Facebook, maybe somebody was manually scheduling a tour on their website, they would still be opted into all those text messages and emails and things of that nature.
Yeah. And I think that, like, especially for those of you who are watching this and you are like, I am a solopreneur, I am literally just a team of one, or I have less than $1,000 a month to invest in my marketing. I mean, Zapier, for the level of what you would need to connect, these apps together, I think it's like $20 a month.
Yeah.
And it can be so worth it to save some of your time. And some of these tools that Abby and I are talking about, MailChimp, Facebook ads, running lead gen ads, those things don't have to be expensive tools. You can opt into just the free version of MailChimp to get started, or you can pay, $10 a month, for that. Like, you can, and then you can tie all of these things together and make sure you have a cohesive strategy by utilizing a tool like Zapier. So, if what we're talking about today feels like that's for the bigger guys, it's really not. It is a very affordable way to create a remarkable customer journey for those of you who are balling on a budget in some ways, right? Like $20 a month, $10 a month. If you're paying for Canva too, all right, now we're at $50 a month, or, and then now maybe you opt in for a text messaging service too. I mean, that's very minimal in the grand scheme of trying to work on converting customers, not just spraying and praying or throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks, right? This is like a part of your overall strategy to convert people. Because someone on your email list, like if someone's opting into your newsletter, like they're filling out a lead gen form on Facebook and they're signing up for your newsletter and that's it. Maybe we're not trying to sell to them right away. Like maybe they become a customer after that fact though, right? Like maybe they opt in for, I'm opted in, excuse me, for a boutique actually in Alexandria, Louisiana. They sell shoes, some clothes, but mostly really cute shoes. And they always text with fun offers for shoes or summer clearance sale or, hey, getting ready for spring break. Like here's our top 5 must-have sandals for heading to the beach or, and I'm like, and I love getting those and I don't buy every single time. But the fact that they're always working on staying top of mind always reminds me to go there when I do have a need for that product or service, So I just think that, taking people from these platforms like Facebook, like Instagram or Twitter, whatever social media platforms you're hanging out on, LinkedIn, and then converting them onto that email list so that you can keep up that communication and automate that, like that's so beneficial to your business. And that's truly about building a full cohesive strategy, not just having all these different tactics in different places.
Exactly. And I think like kind of if you are starting with a Facebook campaign and you can kind of see how many leads are coming into your automation, maybe that not that many leads are coming into that automation. Maybe you need to change up your Facebook campaign and see something that would work that would drive more leads. I think it's just kind of cool to be able to play around and see what works for your clients and what they respond to most. Maybe it isn't the email notifications. Maybe they do prefer those text messages. So just being able to plug and play with the different apps and see like, okay, what is my target audience and how did they respond to things? Can kind of tell you like what services maybe you need to include in that setup when you're putting all those apps together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I absolutely love that too. Oh my gosh, we've been cruising through this conversation. Awesome. We're already at about time here. So Abby, thank you for all of the wisdom that you've shared with us today about Zapier. Y'all, we've talked about exactly what Zapier is. Again, no coding experience required. You do not need to be a wizard in that by any means. Zapier is a tool that you can pay $20 a month and have access to the full functionality of it for your business. You can utilize it to connect various apps. So your CRM to your text messaging service or your Facebook lead ads into, 10 or 12 different steps so that the information is getting added to different places and you're creating that seamless customer journey. You're removing that human error that Abby talked about, because the alternative to Zapier in many cases is manually inputting information, right? And so we're completely eliminating that opportunity for human error when we utilize a tool like Zapier. And most importantly, we're saving ourselves a tremendous amount of time. In Abby's example, she talks about spending 10 to 15 minutes every single day in order to go into Facebook and download leads, input them into the various places, send those email alerts. That's an hour plus a week, depending on how many leads or how many emails you need to send, how many text messages need to go out. So the fact that this can be seamlessly integrated into your systems and processes and tools, creating that seamless journey for your customers while also saving you time is just chef's kiss. Absolutely. Abby also talked to us about some of those key zaps that she has set up. So for her home services clients, taking those people from Facebook, sending them into the CRM, and also creating that text messaging journey, or taking a birthing center in Dallas and taking those leads from Facebook and adding them into a monthly newsletter, also sending them a Calendly link to book a tour of the facility, but then also adding in automation around that tour so that they get text messages reminding them of their tour and thanking them for coming if they did in fact attend the tour. So gosh, so many wonderful opportunities. We've only scratched the surface here, y'all, on what Zapier can do. So if you have any questions about Zapier, feel free to drop those in the comment section. We would love to follow up with you or help you if we can. Abby, before we go today, what is one thing that you are looking forward to this year? It can be into next year, 2025, is your thing you're looking forward to in your work life or your personal life?
Well, personal life, I'm so looking forward to getting married this coming year. That is like the thing that I'm looking forward to most. Work life, though, and I'll tie it back into Zapier a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to just getting like more in the depths of like my home services Zaps that I have set up, because I can track the revenue that we have coming in. So it is just like, I don't know, it's not a game necessarily, but it's just so like challenging and rewarding to see how you can run an ad and then track that revenue. So it's just, I don't know, it makes me a better marketer, but it also really helps the client a lot. So I'm really looking forward to getting more into that this year.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Well, whether y'all were tuning in live or you are catching the replay, thank you for hanging in there with us for this entire conversation, all about automation and using a tool like Zapier. Seriously, I'm going to drop that case study link too in the comments below about CMAP so that you can see how this has impacted their organization. And if you are a similar organization, or if you're a business who could benefit from automating things and saving yourselves time and creating seamless customer journeys, tell us in the comments too, because we would love to talk with you more about creating and setting that up. Next week, I am going to be back with another guest from our team, Alex Bjork. Alex is our manager of the digital marketing department at Ugly Mug. Alex and I are, instead of meeting on Wednesday, we're actually going to be having our coffee chat next week, Thursday. So mark your calendar. Same time though. I believe. Let me go double check on that before I say that, but it is going to be Thursday. You can see the ad and promotions for that coming up here soon towards the end of this week. But Alex and I are going to be talking about the key difference between hitting that boost post button and running an ad in Ads Manager. And spoiler alert, please stop clicking boost post on Facebook, especially if you're clicking boost post from your cell phone. You're actually getting charged more, whether you knew that or not. So we're going to dive into all of that fun stuff, because I know this is a huge topic that really a lot of people aren't super knowledgeable on. If you haven't been in the marketing world or you're just getting started in your business, it's so tempting to hit that button. But we're going to tell you why there's a tremendous amount of value in actually learning how to run ads in Meta Ads Manager versus Boost Post. You're not going to want to miss that conversation. Again, that's next week, Thursday, August 15, same place on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you again, Abby, for joining us today. I am also looking forward to your wedding. I feel like I can't wait to see all these pictures and to see how everything ties together. It's going to be so beautiful. I just know it. We will catch y'all next week for another edition of Coffee Chats. Bye, everyone.
Bye.